Hey everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started with our webinar for today. This is our live B2B software website assessment. My name is Casey Wagner. I also have my coworker Maria Carolina Lopez sitting next to me.
Hi everyone.
So we both work on our marketing services team. We're marketing services associates, and we build landing pages all the time for our software vendors for Capterra. So we're going to go over a couple housekeeping items before we begin. The recording of our webinar is going to be available tomorrow along with the slides, as well as if you guys have any questions while we're running, feel free to chat at us. We'll have some time at the very end for questions. So for the agenda for our webinar today, Maria is going to be going over some key features of a high converting landing page or website, and then we'll get right into it to start reviewing some of the websites you guys have sent in. And then after that, we'll have some time for questions. So I'm going to let Maria take it away.
Thank you, Casey. Great. So some of the key features that high converting landing pages have in common are these that you see on your screen right now. One is a value proposition. That's a headline that tells you, one, what the software does and what sets it apart from the competition. Why would someone choose you over the competition? So you really want to have that up front. The second is targeted scannable content, and there's kind of two parts to this. One, targeted, you want to have the right information, and two, scannable, you want to have it in a way that's easily digestible. Ways that you can do this is having enough white space, having bullet points, icons, anything to make it easy to read and understand. Third, very important, is to have a call to action. What's the next step that you want someone going to your website or landing page to make? The most compelling call to actions on Capterra we've seen are free trial or free demo. So those are typically the ones we recommend for this. But it's always good to test that out and see what works for you. And of course, it depends on the channel. Then you have a short lead capture form that's connected to this call to action. Short, that would be 4 to 6 fields is what we recommend. And so you want to have just enough information, but you don't want to ask too much of this person filling out your form. So that's kind of a good in-between, 4 to 6 fields. You want to have some trust elements on this page. Trust elements can be customer reviews, they can be customer logos, they can be awards. There's a variety of these. Definitely a great one to have though for software is those customer reviews. It really shows a lot when it's coming from their peers and they're talking about your software. It elevates it a little bit more rather than just you talking about your software. And finally, image content. A lot of times we see a lot of very stock-like images. What we want to see in a good landing page or website are images that are authentic and that speak to the target market that you want to attract. Great, so now we will get started. And I'm going to start this off with a landing page that I believe is doing everything correctly. Right, so now we should be seeing the TabClicks landing page. This is one of our vendors here at Capterra that I believe that they're doing everything right. As you'll see, first thing that pops out is that value proposition that tells you what it is and who it's for. So it says complete digital marketing, reporting, and analytics platform. So under that, sorry, had to catch my thoughts there. It tells you under it also that target market copy. It's for digital agencies, media companies, and enterprises. Great to have there, and they expand on what it is. So it provides a complete view of marketing activities. This is great. This image over here, it has some, you can tell that it's reporting, so it's further reinforced, and it's kind of a visual cue towards the form. As you'll see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fields. They're within that 4 to 6 field range that we recommend, and they have a compelling call to action. Like I said, get free demo and get free trial are the ones that typically work best for Capterra vendors. You have some customer logos here, always great to have, and you have BMW, Yahoo, Verizon. These are very recognizable brands. Here they have a video which I do recommend to have. If it's well done, it can really bring up your website to a whole other level. And then if we keep scrolling down, we'll see everything is very easily legible. You have the top features of the software with some images of the user interface. Great to have. It's great to give leads kind of some insight into what that user interface will be. And then we keep scrolling down. They have some testimonials again, so more trust elements. They have some numerical copy here. They're building up that credibility. It's really, really great to see, and they reinforce that call to action throughout the page. And I love this. They have the Capterra badge right under there. So I think they do a really great job of hitting everything that we talked about and kind of what those high converting landing pages typically do have. So now we're gonna move on to the rest of these websites. Let's see. All right, so we're gonna start off with Versa Image Software. The first thing that pops out to me when I go on this website is this image right here. It instantly brings my attention, but because it's moving and it doesn't have the strongest value proposition, it does tell you what the software does. But I think this would be actually much stronger: intelligent document management. And this doesn't pop out to me as much as this image does and as their logo does. So I would definitely recommend that they make this bigger and maybe make it pop out a little more. This headline and that sub-headline are kind of a light gray laid over dark gray. So it does get lost a little bit. And as we keep scrolling down, I think what I first noticed are these images. And what I will say about image content, again, which I've already mentioned, is that it's very important that they feel authentic. When I look at these images, they do feel a little bit like bought stock images, which of course, it's very hard to get your own image content, but it's important to look for ones that do have that feel of authenticity. And then I think it would be very interesting to test for this page a different language. They have kind of a cutesy, empower your mouse to roar like a lion, and that can work for some of our vendors. But it's something you want to test out. It might not make sense to a lot of people landing on this page. They might not know. This doesn't tell you exactly what that feature is until you get into more of this text copy that's a little bit smaller, a little bit hard to read. So I would just test that out, having very specific information, very direct information, and seeing how that compares to this. As I keep scrolling, I'm not really sure what the next action that they want me to take on this website is. I don't see a call to action. So even if I am interested, I don't really know where to go. Would definitely recommend having some CTAs there. And I keep scrolling down. This is great. They have some logos here, and they're pretty recognizable. Kodak. And then this at first seems over here, all the way down, it seems like a review or a testimonial, but it actually isn't. I would also recommend testing out having some more trust elements on this page to build a little bit of credibility. It seems to be a little bit lacking in that, and as it is a kind of older website, I think it would be important to build that credibility. Like I said before, there are various ways to do this. The best one we have found are customer reviews, but there's also customer logos, awards, anything like that, just to build up that credibility. Great, so I think now we'll go to the next one. So this is MuniLink, and it looks like it's utility billing software, though that is a little bit hard to, it doesn't come out at me straight away. I see a lot of text on this page when I first get to it. It's a little bit overwhelming. I don't recommend having that much content up top. There aren't really any images to break up the text. They do have bullet points, but it's still a lot of text at the top, and I don't think if I was someone landing on this page, it's a little bit too much to ask for of me right away. I see here they have user-friendly and intuitive billing software. I love that. I wish that was bigger. I think I wish that was the first thing that I saw when I got to this page, and then maybe moving this further down. I would also suggest having a hero shot rather than this blurred kind of background. I would have some image content that has to do with, utility billing. So maybe like a faucet or something like that already brings your mind to kind of that space. It's utility billing software. I do see they have a CTA over here. They have a free product tour. So that's a spin on a demo. And I wish it was a color that stands out a little bit more. It's green, and because the page is blue and has bits of green, maybe an orange would pop out more. This also upper right corner is a little bit of a blind spot. I would want to see the CTA, smack in the middle. One of the first things I see along with the value proposition. So I think that this page could be improved a little bit with those suggestions that I just said. And as we keep scrolling down, you see a bit of benefits copy, built-in savings, never pay for updates, a company you can trust. I think that's great to have those benefits and those icons that kind of help break up the text, because it is a lot to take in when you're landing on this page. So I think a little bit more of that information hierarchy and breaking it up with white space and icons always helps. Let's keep scrolling down, and it looks like they have a slider of some customer testimonials. I've mentioned it about 6 times already, but really love seeing these testimonials and reviews on these pages. They're so strong. They really resonate with buyers, because they want to hear from people like themselves that were once in their position, how it went for them, and they'll be more likely to trust a testimonial. I do wish it wasn't a slider. I would want everyone to be able to see, 3 testimonials all at once, because if they're scrolling quickly, they might only see one, and there might be another one that was even better that would resonate with them even more. And again, these images, they don't really connect to utility billing to me. The first thing that I think of is outdoors. So with test out, removing those, and again, just having those testimonials be on their own without a slider. Yep, and again, you see that Capterra user review badge, great to see, and a little bit more of trust elements down here. But yeah, so I think with the above the fold, it could definitely be improved. Right now, let's go to great. So now we are doing Icon Systems Inc. And It looks here you have the value prop. It's pretty large. That's great to see. Church management software. I do think we could find some differentiators that are a little bit stronger than online. So what makes you different? Why would someone choose you over the competition? Love that the CTA pops out to me right away. It's a big, bright orange button, and that free also pops out to me. We definitely like having free, free trial, free demo in the CTA because it stands out to people. With this image here, at first I thought it could be kind of a volunteering. It could be a few different spaces, not just church. So I would definitely try to test out an image that is more directed towards that space. Of course, churches do volunteering, but just because it can be applied to so many different listings, would be something to test out in the future. Great. And as we keep scrolling down, I love seeing the text broken up with images. I think it makes it so much easier to read. It's very pleasant, very clean. But I do notice they have a few different offers now. So it looks like free trial is their main offer, but they have some secondary offers, including ebook, webinar, exploring more of the products. So, and they have these ghost buttons here. Would not recommend it. It can be a little bit of choice overload. I don't, I could get indecisive and abandon the page. So would stick to, one main offer reinforced throughout the page, and maybe a secondary offer if you see that that works for your audience. But you get more, you start going above that, and it can be a little bit of choice overload. Then over here, they don't necessarily have product information, but they do have another call to action that says explore products. I see here that it says all-in-one church management. I would love to see that be the value proposition, and maybe more content about the products here, just because to go to a whole other page, it's a lot of steps to get to the content that I as a buyer would want to get to. As we keep scrolling down, though, we have more customer logos. Oh no, sorry, these are integrations, which still, this is great information to have up front. And then you do have some customer testimonials, which again, great to have. And it's all laid out in a pretty clean, easy to read manner. So I love this. You have the free trial reinforced with that orange button. Yeah, so overall, a pretty good page, but there are definitely some improvements that they could make to have this be a little bit more optimized for lead generation. Great. So let's move on to our next page, which is, it's Vodia. Yep, land on this page. Of course, I'm sure everyone's thinking the same thing. First thing we see is the video, and when a video is well done, it's good to have on the page. Would love to see, though, value proposition, some target market copy, more above the fold than just the video. This doesn't really give me a lot of information. I'm not really sure what the software is until I keep scrolling down. So this to me is a little bit like night and day. It's like there's not a lot of information up top, and then suddenly as I keep scrolling, I have a lot of information. This is a lot of text, and I do like that they use some icons to break up the text, but it still feels like a lot in a very small amount of space. So I would test out a little bit more white space, a little giving that text a little bit more room to breathe would make it more legible. As we keep scrolling down, we have some features copy, and they have some screenshots that they zoomed in. I love it. I like I said before, I love when they give some insight into the user interface. I think that's really great to have. And something that I don't like that much is that you have these red buttons, kind of like the call to action is learn more. Let's see where that takes us. So it looks like they just bring up more information, and like I said, it's a lot to take in there. So I would want to see this broken up a little more. This, actually, I think the features are laid out well, but it's still a lot to take in, especially when you have these calls to actions that just bring up more content. So for this page, I think putting in a little bit more white space where it needs, where we talked about before, where they have these icons and all that content, trying out a value proposition, a strong call to action. It looks like they have either account or the learn more, so I'm not really sure how they're going to capture my information. I'm not really sure how to get in contact with them. So I think that's, yeah, definitely testing out either free trial or free demo would be good. Great, so now we can move on to the next one, which is page up. Perfect. So when first coming to this page, actually, I do really like this page. The request a demo is the first thing that I see. Do wish it was not a lighter blue, since they're already using blue on the page, but a brighter color like orange or even a bright green. But regardless, it's I think it's pretty well set up. You have the value proposition, HR software built for your business success. I already know what it is, what it does, and they have that hero shot of, it looks like a team meeting. I think it goes really in line with HR, and with HR you do want that human component in it. That's another thing I'll say. When you're thinking about your image content, think about the listing that you're in. Think about who's going to be seeing this, and what would make sense in that space. So as we keep scrolling down, it seems pretty clean. Oh, looks like they have an overlay with another call to action, explore now. I would recommend a call to action that's a little bit more direct, rather than explore now, maybe download now, something along those lines. Anyway, they have these great screenshots of the software, so great to have, again, when this is your product, so very important. And then they go into some, they tell you they have analytics, they have a sector spotlight, so this seems to be some target market copy. So they must work with a lot of, universities. I don't love this image. It does feel like stock photo. It feels very posed, and it doesn't feel very authentic. So I would love to see maybe a classroom, something more natural there instead of this image. And then you keep scrolling down, you do see some customer, it looks like they're videos, customer testimonials via video, which, again, great to have. Customer logos, just building up that credibility, building up that trust with whoever's on this page. Case studies, so it looks like you'd have to click in to actually read them. Would love to see maybe some blurbs about the case studies, maybe, increase the, banking's efficiency by, numerical copy, something like that, something, what really stands out about these case studies, just having those up front. This website is doing a great job, though, of building up that credibility. You see, across 190 countries, over 200, is that 2 million users? But yeah, again, great to see this. If I'm on this page, I trust them. I trust that they're a reliable company, that they have good products, that they have, that many customers. I keep going down though, and it looks like the not sure what my next action is supposed to be. So it looks like they have a book, but for, like I've said before, for software companies, we have seen that the best call to actions are typically free trial or free demo. Most buyers, like they want to see the software, they want to see your product. So I would look into trying some other CTAs and see how that affects conversion rates. And then as we keep scrolling down, it looks like it's another book, and that's a lot of text to sort through. And like I've said before, you really want to break up text. I don't think a lot of people are going to sit by their computer and read so much. If it's not presented in a way that's easily digestible, you really want to take down those barriers between the buyer and yourself and your content. And then it looks like they have another CTA, Talk to Us, which is pretty vague. With CTAs, you want to tell them, you want to tell buyers what they're getting. Why should they contact you? Or what will you be getting? Oops, sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, so all in all, I think it's a good start. I think it's a pretty good website. Let me just go to the top. So I love the above the fold. Like I said, they have a strong value proposition. They have that call to action, and they have great image content. Would test out, having that call to action be a little bit brighter, reinforcing it throughout the page, and just having a consistent flow. There seems like there's a lot of text in some places, so just breaking that up a little bit, and I think that's something that would really help out for lead generation. And let's go to the next one. Yep. So this is KnowledgeWare, KCC KnowledgeWare. First thing I notice is the slider. I'm not a big fan of sliders. Sometimes, like this one, I think it's going a little bit too quickly. I can't really read what the value proposition is. It moves before I've been able to finish reading that, and the images, they feel pretty inauthentic. They feel pretty outdated. I don't right away know what this software is. It does say innovative training software in the logo, but that's pretty small. I would want that, not moving right here with an image that is directly related to that and a little bit more authentic than what they currently have right now. It looks like their call to action is view more, which it's not compelling to me, especially as a software buyer. I would not really be compelled to click that. As I keep scrolling down, again, you really want to make sure that your image content feels authentic, feels directed at feels tailored for your audience. So would test out different images. I do love this. We create specialized safety, compliance, e-learning courses. I think that should be bumped up to the top. That tells me exactly what you do. So I love that. And then it looks like they have a call to action here. Purchase now before, if it feels a little bit too soon, I would want more information. Again, maybe free demo, free trial before pushing those buyers to spend money, to give you even more, put more effort. And finally, they have this, founded in 1994, and they have the number of course completions. Love seeing numerical values. not so much, founded this date. This doesn't really tell me that much. I think the more compelling copy would be, this number of users, this many customers in this many countries. Things like that really help to build up credibility. So I think that's it for this page. And now I'm gonna pass it over back to Casey.
Hey guys, so I'm gonna keep going through some of these websites, give Maria a little bit of a break as she's gone through a couple websites already, just to keep on going with this website review. So for this next website, and before I begin critiquing this, just a reminder, if you guys have any questions as we go along, feel free to chat those to us. We're gonna have a couple minutes at the end to go over some questions. So when I first land on this page, you notice that there is a couple different images. So that we just saw the man image, and now this is image of T. So I'm a little confused what they do when I first land on here. It looks like the long-term ROI of investigation management. So from reading that value proposition and the subheadline here, I'm not quite sure what their software does, and I would love to see, like, put your benefits up top, put what makes you different up top, and explain a little bit more about your software with some image content that's a little bit more relevant to the industry that you're in. And Maria's talked about this before, but the call to action here, learn more, isn't super compelling. Definitely would want to see if you guys have a demo or a trial, bump that up top. If somebody wants to see your software, interact with it, put that up to the top of the page. So as we scroll down, you see there's a couple different, it looks like, target audiences. So they do special investigation, law enforcement, and the copy here is in 3 different fonts, it looks like, 3 different colors. It's a lot going on at once with this line height here. It's pretty tiny, as well as these stock images down here. I'm not sure if those are the best representations of each one of those audiences. But when we see right here, schedule a demo. So I would bump that up to the top. If you have a demo offer, put it up top, and as we scroll back up, yeah, make it that the orange color to match your logo versus this green. It blends in a little bit more, doesn't stand out quite as much. So let's keep going down the page. So we see they have some customer testimonials. And it actually looks like this one's cut off, so I can't even read the entire testimonial. So definitely would make that maybe its own section so you can fully read not just one at a time, but multiple at a time. So it looks like they have a couple different here, has the company logo, which is great, as well as that little bit of content. But I think as far as this page goes, if I'm a buyer landing on this page, it doesn't tell me a lot about the product. So I think I'd want some more feature content up front, some more benefits focused copy, because right now it's just a little bit more general and vague. But yeah, so from this page, let's go over to the next one. So before I even land on this page, it looks like we have a pop-up, sign up for our newsletter. So let's X out of that. So the top of this website, I love that the value proposition is called out and the subheadline. But as I read this, so value generation through improvement of business and people performance, I don't know if that entirely tells me what your software does right up top. If I click on maybe platform, looks like performance, talent management, looks like you guys do quite a bit. So I might explain that a little bit more because right now it's pretty vague. As well as right now we have a find out our solutions button as well as a talk to us button. So I like that with the 2 buttons at the top. One of them is definitely higher weight than the other with this orange color, but I think it's not that compelling. And I would say if you have a demo to maybe talk through the solution, if it's a bit more complicated, put that at the top, connect it to a lead generation form to get somebody's information. So as we scroll down, you see they have their customer logos, which I love. I think this is great. I love that they're grayed out because it doesn't really distract away from that top image and the call to action. So let's see, we keep scrolling. So it looks like they're tailor-made solutions. I love that that's bolded out. Management consulting and the platform. But it doesn't really tell me anything about the platform. Oh, so it looks like it actually tells you a little bit more when you hover over top of it. I think I would actually remove that and put more information underneath it. Just since the top right now, I don't really quite know what the software does yet, I would put some more information on this page. But as we scroll down, it has some success cases, and it actually looks like these are in Portuguese. So as an English user going to this, a little bit harder to read, but I like that they have those logos there, a little bit harder to understand. And then same thing at the bottom here, looks like this is in Portuguese as well. So just something to consider with that English versus Portuguese website if it's mixed, if you want just one English, one Portuguese. And then at the bottom, we have a contact us button. Take a tour on the platform, schedule a meeting. So I would make sure this CTA is a little bit more compelling. If I'm a software buyer landing on this page, what's going to make me want to contact you? Do I want to get a free demo? Do I want to trial your software? Just a little bit more information. And then as we scroll down, we have a footer that appears. So let's just scroll a little bit further up here. Perfect. And let's move on to another one. I'm going to try and get as many done as I can, guys. So let's see. Let's go to this one. So CCD Health Systems. So I'm landing on this page. Oh, there's words. Okay, so software to manage people, safety, and training. And there's a call to action for products. Oh, okay, and then it just went away. So I would definitely make sure with that scrolling, either make it slower. I'm not a huge fan of scrolling just because it makes it harder for somebody to understand. It doesn't really streamline that conversion path, as well as it looks like it has multiple different offers, all the same color, that are quickly going in, quickly going out. So like check out our new logo, tell us what you think. I think definitely at the top, put what your software does, put what makes it different, have that sub-headline there with that call to action. And just keep it consistent throughout the page so you're streamlining that path when someone's landing on this page. So as we scroll down, this tells me a little bit more. It looks like they're incident reporting software and safety software. So I love both of these. I wish that they had a call to action underneath both of these that said get free demo of incident analyst or get free demo of simply safety. So we keep scrolling through the page. I love these little icons here. It looks like they have some more information as you scroll over them, which tells you their target audience, who they help. So when we get to this point, it says, would you like to take any of our products for a test drive? Request a demo. I would bump that call to action up to the top, make it your main call to action when somebody lands on this page. What do you want them to do next? Do you want them to be giving you feedback on your logo? I would say more request that demo, put that up top, make it the main call to action. As we keep going down, I like that they have here a little bit of trust elements as far as how long they've been in business, and then they have all of these different things that the software does, the incident reporting, training, investigations. So as we keep going down, a little bit more target market copy of what industries they serve. And then client feedback. So I wish this was higher up on the page as far as the reviews of the software. And I think, honestly, the information hierarchy of this review, I read the name first with this dark, I think it's like a gray-green color, versus the testimonial, because this is a tinier font. So I would probably remove this background color here, make the testimonials a little bit larger and put quote marks around them. So it's a little bit more intuitive to know these are a testimonial. I should be reading the words first versus somebody's name. But I do like that you've included the customer logos. And then at the bottom, whoa, okay, so this is a get in touch form. So as Maria mentioned earlier, we definitely recommend 4 to 6 form fields for lead generation, especially with Capterra. That's what we always recommend to our software vendors. And it looks like this has 4, but because your message box is so big, it makes it look like the form is gigantic. And I think it would be, I don't know if I could fill this out because it looks so large when I first click down, as well as it just says send message here at the bottom. So I definitely would change this to request the demo, that call to action you had in the middle of the page. I definitely think that's stronger. Okay, so let's see if we can go on to the next one. So this page is for Doe Legal. So initial reaction when I land on this page, so I'm a little bit confused because it has a nature background with the mountains, which looking at it again, it kind of looks like it's meant to match their logo right here with the mountains. I don't think that I immediately think, hey, this is a page for legal software when I first get on here, until I read the text, an elevated perspective on your legal world. And I think as well as with the mountain image, if you were going to use it, putting like an overlay over it, because right now it's really, really hard to read that text. And I think your text copy is great. You have some features here of what your software does, but it's very, very hard to read on this background image, which makes it just another barrier to getting me to understand your software when I first land on this page. As well as, we said it again, the Our Solutions call to action at the top. Definitely would recommend pushing, what do you want someone to do when they get to this page? Do you want them to request a demo? I see a request a demo link up here, but it's not in a different color. It just kind of blends in with that navigation. Would probably put request a demo up front, make it your strong offer. So as we scroll down, it looks like they have a little bit of news section here. And then I think it was so I thought that this was a testimonial, but it actually looks like it's from the president of the company. So I think for me as a user getting on this page without having any knowledge of your software, that's a little bit confusing and a little bit misleading, as when I see the quote, I'm kind of expecting to read a review of your software from a customer of your software. And I like that you're having like, this is our commitment, we've built our platform, but I think having that quotation mark so large makes it a little bit misleading. So as we scroll down, we have, it looks like 2 different products with a little bit more information about both. And it is kind of a lot of text right here, so I think you might even be able to put some check marks of what makes them different, so someone, when they're looking at this, can easily see, hey, this one does this, which one is a better fit for me? I know right up top you have Legal Enterprise and then eDiscovery, but because it's not underneath both of these logos, I kind of glaze over it, I don't read it. As well as these learn more call to actions that go through the page, and they actually, navigating someone away from the page, it definitely dilutes that conversion path. It's not as streamlined. When someone's clicking over to that learn more, it's just another page for somebody to go to. And then this is another slider, which once again I've said I'm not a huge fan of sliders just because they go a little bit too fast. It's hard to read all of this information and digest it before it scrolls to the next screen. So definitely would consider potentially taking that out. And as we scroll down, really like the awards here that they've won, but this is a lot of text, a lot of links away from the page, just to consider. But yeah, right here, request that demo, I would bump that up to the top, make it the best call to action that you have, highlight it as much as you can on the page, reinforce it. Versus a contact us today, I don't think that should have the same weight potentially as that request a demo. So let's move on to another vendor. So this one is Milano Software. So when I land on this page, there is no text at all. So I don't know what their software does when I land on here. So I think definitely first suggestion would be putting that value proposition, put a subheadline on the top of the page with a call to action. Where if I land on this page and there's nowhere for me to go immediately before I scroll down, I definitely would recommend adding that. But as we scroll down a little bit more, these icons are so cute. I think that they're really telling of, we do salon, we do spa, we do retail, fitness, tattoo parlors, hotels. Bump that up to the top. Tell people what you do immediately as soon as they land on your page so they don't abandon your page once they realize no text is loaded. As we scroll down, I like that they have this layout, it fits your business, some 26 years in the industry with a little graphic of their software. And then as well, they have the social proof, so they have some logos of people that have, I guess, tested out their software. And it looks like they have some benefits here of what they can do, features. And this looks like a scroller, so between what features they do, And I think I might actually maybe separate that out so there's more feature content without someone having to do the additional work of scrolling through the page. But as we get to the bottom, mobile, desktop, and cloud, I think that I love this image of the mobile solutions, but the desktop and cloud solutions images are they're very stock photo with the lady pointing on her finger of this graphic. I definitely would recommend maybe even using icons there. I don't know if you necessarily need those images. But when we get to the end, we will help ask us how. So I think that's a little bit too broad, and I would be reinforcing what offers do you guys have to have a free demo, to have a free trial. What is going to happen when I fill out my name, email, and type of business, and I click send? What is the next action that I'm going to be taking for this software? So I think we might have time to do one more before we get to questions here. Let's see. So last but not least for today, and if we haven't gotten to yours today, I'm sorry, we did get a lot of websites in. So this is continuous discovery for your IT infrastructure. So immediately when I land on this page, it's a lot going on, and I don't know where I should put my focus first, because you have two different call to actions. You have a download free trial and a request online demo, and they have the same weight, where they're both bold colors that are competing against each other. And then immediately underneath that, you have something that's scrolling through that makes it very hard to read. So I think up top, I would definitely get rid of that scroller because it makes it very distracting with the call to action. But I do like that you have these customer testimonials or customer logos immediately underneath. But because once you have the customer logos and then so closely underneath it, you have what the software does, and they kind of are laid out in a similar fashion, it makes it a little bit harder to digest this content. So I would probably put some white space in between here, maybe put a headline to this section so it breaks it up when somebody's looking at it, because right now it's a lot going on. I don't know where my eye should go. And then as I'm scrolling down, it looks like there's some other call to actions here. So competing with the download offer at the top and the demo offer, there's also read two different informations, which I think it might be a little bit too much and too overwhelming for the buyer when somebody lands on this page, just because there is so much content in such a small amount of space. But I really like how this vendor laid out their features. So you have the icon, you have a headline for each, and it's only a sentence or two underneath it to easily understand what the software does, which I love. As we scroll a little bit further down, so it looks like these are clickable, so you can click through and see some other features. It might be interesting to maybe put some image content on here or change the colors when you're going through each one so they don't look all the same, as well as some blog posts. And then we get down to the navigation. And in the navigation, I see that online demo, and then once again up at the top, that try it free. So what offer converts best for you? What is your aim when somebody lands on here? Do you want them to be navigating away from the page, or do you want them to be doing that online demo or that free trial? And I think, too, one thing that we're really missing, I think this is well designed as far as I love the icons, I love the graphics and how clean it is, but there isn't much trust elements on the page besides the customer logos. So I would love to see some testimonials on here as well. So I think that is the last one we're going to be able to do today, and we're going to be able to transition into some questions now that we've gotten chatted to us as we've gone along. So let me see and take a look at what questions we've gotten. Okay, so first question that we got are, what are your thoughts about having a chat feature? So for me, and for when we're building landing pages for software vendors, typically we don't recommend having a chat feature for a couple different reasons, unless you can do it well, where if you can track the source of your chat, because when you're using a landing page optimized for pay-per-click, for lead generation, you want to make sure that you can exactly track where that lead has come from. So within your chat feature, if you can track that, that's great. But another thing with chat is when you're going through the page, if the chat pops up and blocks a large majority of the page, it's very distracting to your conversion path. So I think if it's something at the bottom that's tiny that you can track that's not popping up and getting someone's attention, it can be done in a great way if you can track it. But typically don't recommend it if it's one of those large chat boxes that pops up, because I know when I'm going through websites, I don't love those. And sometimes if they don't look that great, it makes me question the credibility, I guess, of the software company. So, and let's see, Maria, do you want to answer the next one?
Yes, thank you, Casey. So the next question we have here is, how long is a good time to test if a landing page is performing well? So we actually typically recommend not time, but traffic. If you're getting about, I would say about 200 to 300 clicks is a good estimate of conversion rate. So clicks, by that I mean after 200 to 300 people have gone to your website and you've gotten your conversion rate from that, I think that's a good benchmark. But again, more than that, even better. And yeah, I think that's
I think if you want to get enough traffic to the page to make sure you're getting like statistically significant data to draw a conclusion and see if it's working, if you need to be changing something, if you should start A/B testing. But yeah, definitely agree with Maria there.
Casey, do you want?
So how do you decide how long to make a form? So for us, and when we're building landing pages, we've seen for Capterra specifically that 4 to 6 form fields works the best, because with 4 form fields, it's still enough information where you can get like their email or their phone number and have enough information to contact them, but it's not too much where it's demanding too much from the person when they're filling out the form. Any more than 6, we've seen some drop off in lead quality, as well as, or any more than 6, we've seen some drop off in lead submissions, so your conversion rate will go down. But I think it's worth testing it with whatever channel you're using the form for. Between 4 to 6, if you're getting no leads come through, maybe try to shorten it. And if you have a really long, aggressive form, like 10 form fields, think about it. Would you fill out that form if you were going to a website? Is all the information really necessary for your sales team to be following up?
So then this next question is how to minimize bad leads with your improved landing pages. So there are a few things that you can do to minimize the amount of bad leads, and something that I want to say before I get into what you can do is with PPC or with pay-per-click, you're always going to have a 30-30-30 break-off. So 30 of that will be great qualified leads. Another 30% might be unqualified leads, so it's real people, it's real information, but they're just not quite your target market. And then the last 30% is just going to be junk. It's going to be, you know, fake emails, fake phone numbers, just, you know, completely bad leads. But a way to minimize that is, first, you want to be upfront about your target market. So this would be minimizing those unqualified leads. You don't want to take time away from your sales team trying to, you know, qualify them later down the line. So be upfront about your target market. Who is the software for? Have that, you know, in your description in Capterra. Have that on your first thing on your website, and have it, you know, have image content that has to do with it. Just always reinforce that target market so that you're not getting a lot of unqualified leads. And then there's only so much that you can do for what we call junk leads. Something that we tell our vendors is have kind of like company email type of language. Make sure that they're giving you the correct information. And I do want to address a misconception, is that sometimes we get leads with, you know, a Gmail account or kind of like that, not their company email, but those could still end up being qualified leads. Reach out to them. You never know, they might just not feel comfortable giving you that information. But I think those are the 2 main suggestions that we give to our vendors when it comes to improving that quality of leads. Casey, do you have anything to add? Or
I think I agree with everything that Maria just said. I think what we've done before with software vendors is definitely bolding that target market. So if you only serve 5 users, be as upfront about that as possible, because if somebody fills out the form and they only have 1 user, but there's no information that you are only serving 5 users or more, it's a little bit confusing. And then I think too, what you can also do is with your landing page form, if you're between that 4 to 6 form field length, you could always ask a qualifying question to see if it is a good lead. And like Maria said, adding company email or business email to a form as well. And then another question that we just got is how often should I test the components in landing pages? So I think this depends a lot on the data and what you're converting at currently, but I think it's always worth to continually test a page and see if you can improve it to make it better. I don't think it's a good idea to like have a page static, never make any changes, just think it's always going to do well. I think you should always be continually testing it, at least a little bit. But basically taking that back to data of, is it performing well right now? Do I want to try changing a couple of different things and see if that increases my conversion rate? Maria, do you have anything else to add about that?
Yeah, I do want to, just because this does come up often, you have a great landing page, it's converting really well, and then suddenly, you know, a year down the line, it starts converting a little less. Why is this happening? Like Casey said, because you have to be continually testing. Think about the fact that your vendors are doing this. They're continually improving their landing pages and websites. So you're always going to have tougher competition. You want to make sure that you're always improving that and refining that page. So it's you know, up to date. We see a lot of out of date websites. You want to make sure, you know, your software screenshots are up to date, that everything is optimized.
And going off of that as well, I think it's a fine line though, where you don't want to be testing too much and not getting enough traffic to the page, like we mentioned in that question earlier. So if you're getting 10 visits to a page and then saying it doesn't work, let me try something different, I would take a step back, make sure you're getting enough traffic to the page with any changes you're making to make sure that the data is significant, where it's a large portion of volume and you're getting enough information to the page to be able to deem it quality or not. And then I think as well, going off of that, like if you get new customer logos or new customer testimonials, those are easy things to switch out on a landing page, where if you think it puts a better foot forward, would definitely recommend updating those once you get them in.
And you just touched slightly upon this, and I just want to bring it up again really quickly. Because I do think it's important. We've talked a lot about best practices. We've talked a lot about, you know, what makes a good landing page, but it's important to bring everything back to data. At the end of the day, you want to make sure that what works is working for you and you're getting the results that you want to see. So make sure to bring all your decisions, bring all your ideas back to the data and see what's working.
And I think too, so if you guys have any other questions from the answers that we just said, or any questions in general, we build landing pages every day. It's our forte. Feel free to email us at landingpages@capterra.com. And just as a reminder, the recording and the slides for this webinar will be sent in an email tomorrow. But I think that's all that we have today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and for your time. Feel free to email us if you've got any questions about landing pages or conversion rate optimization for PPC.